What's going on, you guys? It's your Huggable Hipster here. Happy Monday and welcome back to the channel. In today's episode of Soulsborne Academy, we're going to talk about the Estus flask. So let's go over what the Estus flask is first, and then we're going to discuss why it's so important to the Souls games. So Estus, as you guys can see over here, is the Latin word for heat. It's something of where it's been whittled down to just Estus for the games. So when we are chugging the Estus flask for recovery of our health, we are chugging the fire from the bonfire. It's kind of like the circle of life to an extent. You give heat to the fire by giving yourself and the entirety of the world to the bonfire, and you are drinking the essence of what the universe is. So in Dark Souls 1, for example, let's say you don't choose not to light the fire. You choose to light the fire instead and continue the cycle. Well, in that case, if you're continuing the cycle, you're continuing the cycle of ingesting, I want to say, all of what has been burning around you. The burning of souls, the burning of humanity, the burning of everything, because we saw that ending that happened in Dark Souls 1 Remastered, and it was an all-consuming flame. That was the ending that I personally chose. I didn't know that there was actually a second ending that you could just completely denounce the fire and you could go into the Age of Man. But when you consume yourself within the fire, as we see also in the ending of Dark Souls 3, where you're fighting a personified version of the bonfire, it's really interesting to think about these concepts of where, wow, okay, we have the Estus flask, which is literally a bonfire that we are chugging for our health benefits in the game. Now, some could argue that the Fruit of Pygmy actually created it because part of the humanity is within the being or hollow, if you will. Now, this could be debatable considering the fact that our character in every Souls game has a portion of the Fruit of Pygmy, therefore the humanity that he has, a section of it goes to our character in the games. So we could, for all intents and purposes, say, oh no, the bonfire didn't create us, the Fruit of Pygmy did. But then that wouldn't make sense because the Fruit of Pygmy, we aren't a whole of its creation. We are only a part of it in the games. And it's really telling that the Estus flasks are linked to the Fire Keepers, which technically means that the soul, which kind of the soul, I would say, and I don't know if this would be a long shot or not, but I would say that the soul is what the Fire Keeper is for the Hollow. So you can see how the creation of the self, the bonfire, the soul, the keeper, and the Hollow, the Estus flask, are all connected into nice, one bite-sized, little difficult to understand package. And also, just to point out the progression of the games from Dark Souls 1 to Dark Souls 2 to Dark Souls 3, our characters have very unique names from the last. It's almost kind of like a progression of what our character is becoming. In Dark Souls 1, you had the Chosen Undead. In Dark Souls 2, you had Bearer of the Curse. And in Dark Souls 3, you had Champion of Ash. You know, I know a lot of people think that, oh, Souls games and Souls-like don't have linear stories a lot of the time. Well, this just proves it. I mean, of course they have linear stories. Of course they have conceptualized ideas that turn into something that is very deep in psychology and philosophy. So to have the Chosen Undead, Bearer of the Curse, and Champion of Ash, you're getting from point A to point B to point C. And since your Fire Keeper is basically maintaining your life force, is maintaining that bonfire, because without the bonfire you would die, so you need the Fire Keeper to keep the fire going in one soul in order for that strength and that endurance to be continuous. Why do you think she's the person that you go to whenever you need to level up? Funny to a degree that this is supposed to be a healing flame that the character consumes in the game. So it's absolutely amazing to me that something that is healing and transformative becomes something deadly by the end of the third game. Absolutely just miraculous how that's being written. The journey of an undead has always traced the bonfires, and no journey of import has been made without an Estus flask. So the journey of life, the journey of your being and whoever you are, you can't do it without that fire and without that substance guiding you towards wherever it is that you need to go. What I also find really cool is that to obtain more flasks, you need the Estus shard in order to do that. So by obtaining more of these Estus shards, you're increasing kind of the durability of oneself. You're increasing what you are and the bonfire and how it helps you and guides your way through. And I think that's really, really cool. And also, just as a fun little tidbit, there is an Estus ring that increases the amount of health regenerated by 20%. But I hope this video was fun for you guys to watch. If you guys like my face and what I do, please be sure to subscribe and hit that bell down below. May you find your worth in the waking world, your hunter. Stay casually nerdy, and I will see you all in the next video. Ubasa.